This poem is called One Day in Mind. Growing up in Glassoul and living in Kathleens' house in 19 Finlater Street, it was one of a number of houses of what were called artisans' dwellings. I suppose a working class area. Not shabby, but not upper class either. And a thing I remember from those years is a street singer coming to sing songs in the street. I presume at that time that street singers didn't really go to posh areas. They went to ordinary areas and sang their song and collected a few bob and went away happy or unhappy. This particular street singer used to call once every maybe 6 months. And I can see him still. I can see his face. And I regret that we never found his name out. I never asked him his name. It would be nice to remember his name. One Day in Mind, Finlater Street, 1959. The sound came faintly, growing, as he slowly worked the street. A gentle song of unrequited love, sung true to note in a voice that once was strong. The lilting, rolling song, matched by his rolling gait, moved closer. The street singer came calling once or twice a year, never asking, never begging, just singing, hoping, trusting. Closer now, his face reflected hardship, the ups and downs of life lived hard. In someone else's shoes and shirt and tie, clean but tired and faded, he wore his broken heart on his shabby, shiny sleeve. The song moved on and faded, as he worked his way back down the other side, then stopped, looked at his meagre coins, walked sad, slow steps away. Another street, another song. We never knew his name, but we remember. Did he recall Finlater Street, a young boy holding out a single shiny shilling? He gave us more than we gave him. This next poem I've called Joyful and Triumphant. And really, it's a memory of Christmas from back in, I suppose, 1954 or 55. I was still living in Booterstown in Pembroke Cottages with May and Pat. This was before we moved up to live in Kathleens' house in Finlater Street in Dunleary. And it's about a Christmas day, and the things that I remember stand out in my mind from Christmas Day, which is a most unusual day. It's called Joyful and Triumphant. Christmas, I remember, was the only time the fire was lit all day. Dal lit it real early, with twists of the evening press, bits of broken wood and coal brought from the backyard in the ash bucket. The room was warm, flickering. Once a year smells of nutmeg, allspice and stale Guinness, mixed with coal smoke, pine and white pudding. Everything was lit up for breakfast. Red and white, chains of criss-crossed crepe, cards on the mantel, and the green tree had cotton wool ball snow. The path was frosted white on the way out to the lav. I rode my big wheel trike, making squeaks on the lino. Triumph was written in old-fashioned silver letters on the red metal bars. I was 5 then, full of joy. It was indeed a happy, warm Christmas, I remember. This next poem is called Far From a Thigh, and again it's a memory of Pat Swords. Pat worked on roofing, and he worked for a roofing company based in Dalkey called Hammond's Roofing, run by a man known fondly as Old Hammond. And Pat occasionally had to travel away, to stay in digs, to work on a job for a week. And I remember him telling me about a Thai, and I remember remarking about something that I knew about a Thai. This is the poem. Far from a Thai. Pat told stories of old times, living in digs in a Thai, working on the roofing for old Hammond. Me, with my book learning, piped up. I heard of a Thai. And look, a barge comes bringing from a Thai and other far-flung towns mythologies. Lines from the Canal Bank poet. Bet he never saw it in the lashing rain, Pat observed dryly. No, nor I had never seen it Pat's way. From a cold slate roof, breaking galvanised tacking nails with a long ripper. And only the price of 2 pints in his pocket, till Friday. He was glad for me that I hadn't. Sometimes. And it's looking back at Christmases. Only it's trying to remember the business of bringing down the Christmas decorations, putting them up, taking them down, putting them back up in the attic. Something we do once a year. And sometimes there's a big difference between the last time we took down the decorations and now. Perhaps there was somebody who helped the decorations last year and they're not here to help. Sometimes. Sometimes time is measured in Christmas decorations. Minute baubles and second sets of lights. A tree full. Hours in attics, reaching the back wall where the good stuff is. Silver birds in black tissue paper, not to be used. They were Nana's. The crib and the cardboard held by 5 years' sticky tape. The old figures with the 3-legged donkey and the chewed-up baby Jesus in the manger. Meg had left her mark. This yearly task, the getting down, the putting up, the taking down, the putting away again, flimsy boxes, treasured memories. Sometimes, at the putting away, thoughts come unbidden of the next getting down. The Dorky Fox. At the time I lived in Dorky, which was a very desirable place to live, and it was the time of the Celtic Tiger housing boom in Ireland, and Dorky was expensive. A fox used to visit us in the night and come to the front garden and generally mooch around all the gardens. We weren't sure where he lived, but he lived nearby, and wherever he lived, we knew it was expensive. We often wondered afterwards how the Dorky Fox fared. This is called the Dorky Fox. Brave, furtive fox, descended from a line of Dorky Fox of old to this sad state. Thin, scrawny shadow of your former self, hunting through the gardens, stalking bins and refuse sacks for scraps of chicken Kiev, Marks and Spencer meals, and Chinese takeaway. You take away a living, stealing quiet, the lean leftovers of the Dorky diet. Your home is in the brambles, on the last site left for sale, the site more valued than your life and mine together. You soon will be evicted. Take your chances to survive the JCB that clears the site, that helped you stay alive. Homeless in Dorky's not the worst disgrace. You could be homeless in a less expensive place. The Dorky short-arse fox we cruelly called, when you had lost your tail. What caused your brush with death? A Merc? A Maserati? You get run over by a better class of death round here, but still you die. They drive too fast. They make the engines roar. The Dorky Tiger pups bring death up to your door. When you are gone, as surely you'll soon be, we'll miss you calling in the night. The Dorky Fox, we thank you for your visits. The owners of the site will never know you as we did. It is their loss and yours. You are condemned to live and die on real expensive real estate nearby. The Desres in the brochure will be theirs, not yours. Former Fox's homes will get a mention on the Dokey walking tours. Our children will remember you and tell their children too about the Dokey Fox who used to call. Cruel life, cruel fate. You should be wild in Wicklow with your children at your heel, in mountain streams and moorland, in fields of pheasant, living foxy life for real, not dying slowly in this most expensive place, a victim of the market in Dokey's booming and inhuman race.